So now let's see how we can configure Inkscape to our needs. Let's go for that into the Edit and Preferences menu. All right. So here in this interface, actually we don't have much to change. Everything is very well set up. So we will see what we have here and change a few things, tweak a few of them, especially the theming. But that's it. So first off, let's go to the interface menu. In the interface, you can change especially the language. If you want Inkscape to look like in your own language, this is where you have to go, all right? And there are many other things, but we won't change them for the sake of this video. And it's going to be very straightforward in this case. Okay, then let's go to theming. This is where you can change your interface rendering. I mean, the way it looks like. By that I mean using a dark theme or a light theme. You can also change it to another theme on this machine, which is Ubuntu Linux computer. I can use a great many settings. So I have the Adveta, which is it changes the interface here. I can go to Adveta dark, and there is also the Win32 interface that looks like, for those of you who were born then, like Windows 95 born and who are using a computer back in those days. And let's revert it back to my system theme, which is the normal I have here. Then I can change it, as I showed you just a few seconds ago, the theme to a dark one. Let's go back to the light one. Another thing which is kind of important is the icon theme. By default, we will use the high color theme, this one, which is the legacy theme. It's the one that's used for many years on Inkscape, but it's also the one that is used on every system that Inkscape can be installed on, like macOS, Windows, or Linux. So this is the one we will all use for this video, but in this video and the exercise that would follow. But if you want to, you can change it to another one, like multicolor. Looks a bit more modern, maybe. Yeah. Tango, another one, and the one I have here on my system, which is called Yahoo Purple. But yeah, it fits in my system. But let's go back to the high color. And if you want to, you can also use a symbolic set of icons like this. It will change it to black and white. Okay, that's the way it is. That's great. But let's go back to the previous one. In the second menu we have, which is called Windows. We won't change anything. It's okay like this. Then let's go to grids. Grids are grids. Yeah, they're very interesting because they will put a grid on your drawing. Sorry, and it's a bit like using a LibreOffice Impress or Microsoft PowerPoint, for instance, where there is a grid so that you can align objects as you wish. So in this case, you can change the color, you can change the size, the spacing between the grid, because we will see that you will have different elements on the grid. Then there is the command palette, but we don't use it here, and the keyboard. And the keyboard is about shortcuts, all right, like open, close, and open different tabs, and doing many actions through GIMP. You can also change it here. In this menu, you can see that it's a drop-down menu. You can see that you have many different configurations for your keyboard. For instance, if you're coming from macOS and want to use some kind of very macOS style shortcuts on another machine, on Windows or Linux, this is where you can use. You can change it to Inkscape Carbon Mac OS X. You can also export and import the shortcuts here if you want to change them. Then let's go to the other menu. We have the behavior one, where you can see we can change the way the selecting features work, transforms, dashes, scrolling, snapping, etc., etc. We won't change them, but if you want to go into them and tweak them a bit, this is where you can go. It's up to you. Then let's go to input output. This is where you can manage how you want your external pictures, for instance, to get into Inkscape and how you want to use them. You can change the way Inkscape behaves, but there's not much to change here. I won't go to the system, that's fine. We have important images, so if you want to import an image, if we use GIMP as a bitmap editor, and Inkscape is obviously used as a SVG editor. Okay, rendering, okay, we won't change that. And rendering is about some effects, how you want your effects to be rendered to used, and if you want them to be high quality or not so much high quality, but it will go faster or slower depending on this thing. All right.